So very scared because I saw the amount of training. It needs a 15-hour plus trainings a week, and I had a full-time job back in the day. If you don't believe that you're gonna be successful and that you're gonna make it, it's not gonna happen. So it's a mental game. It's really a mental game.
Find a way.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah.
When I'm tired, when I'm just not able to give 100%, find a way.
Yeah.
Dig in deep, find a way. And you're tired, okay, that is when you start moving. That is when you really push yourself mentally, physically, emotionally to go and do something, right?
The more I grew, the more I started to be inspired by people who are actually wise, who are very calm. And then I understood that being a man is not only a matter of being strong.
If you can dream it, you can do it. And a lot of times in my life, I've dreamt of things and I've seen things. I'm like, man, this is where I need to be. This is where I'm going to be. And I think, it's just the roadmap to getting there is a bit challenging, but you need to find a way. You need to
make your way.
Make your way.
Sometimes it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Sometimes you won't find it. You need to make it.
You need to make it, exactly.
And that's amazing. Hey everyone, so welcome to the episode of the podcast Koon Rijjeil. So I'll give my guests a little bit of an introduction. So me and Akram, I think, only met maybe twice in real person. We've met every day on Instagram because we always talk together. Not because he's my guest, but really because he's one of the very few people that I've ever met who you know directly that this is a good person. He's a good guy. Trains really hard. You can see. You probably can't see because he's wearing a really baggy shirt, but he's mashallah very fit. Akram, welcome to Koon Rijjeil.
Thank you, Karim.
So Akram, the way we start every episode on the podcast is a very simple question.
Okay.
Which is, what does Koon Rijjeil mean to you? So Koon Rijjeil, the quite literal translation of it to English is be a man in English.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, that's a simple question, right?
Yeah. Hopefully a simple one.
So be a man. I think being a man is self-acceptance, knowing how to be humble, and sometimes that you need to start from a level that is not always the level you want to be in. So humility, I think, is the main word for this.
Interesting, because from a lot of our previous guests, right, for them the idea of being a man, right, has always come down to being as an act, like being a person who does like acts of service. So you're helping others, you're the provider, you're the protector, you're the one who does a lot of things, right? So I'm interested to hear why you think that it's about humility.
Because I think without humility, there is no self-acceptance, and without self-acceptance, there is no growth, and without growth, you cannot be a man. So you are not born a man; you become a man, and depending of where you're from, your environment, your education, the people you're gonna hang out with, you're gonna become a different person. So you just learning who you are, and the concept of being a man is a mix of many things, but it's not like something that is gifted to us. We just become this better version of ourselves. So I think being a man is a very big word in that sense.
It's a very big word, and I'm also interested to know how your definition of a man came around, because, for example, was it something from childhood that you picked up on, or was it something that maybe you've seen other people believe in and follow, so you've followed that path? So how was that for you?
Well, it's interesting because for me, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be stronger. So that was like my definition of being a man. Like, I want to be stronger, I want to look that big and muscular, and be protective, as you said earlier. And then the more I grew, the more I started to really be inspired by people who are actually wise, who are very calm. And then I understood that being a man is not only a matter of being strong. So I think you never want to be able to reach the point you want to reach, because if you do, then life has become just boring,
Yeah.
So it's a continuous process towards a goal that will never be achieved. And then that's the only way you can live and be, happy with your life every day, knowing that you're getting better. Because, we're nothing at the end of the day, Yeah.
We're just a droplet in the ocean, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think, especially when it comes to topics like masculinity and all, there's so many different definitions, so many different ways of looking about it. Everyone has their own idea of what it's to be a man, whether you're a woman or a man.
Yes.
We all have different ideas, but I think as a man, I think I definitely agree with the humility part. I think, because I think with humility comes this aspect of, maybe to me, it's like, I'm not that far ahead of my powers. I'm just getting there.
Yeah.
No matter how much progress you make, for me, by the way, I noticed this on myself. I always say, like, even just before you're saying, like, you're looking a bit better. To me, I know that.
Yeah.
But I don't make it seem like it's khalas, I'm there. No.
Yeah.
I'm on the way. I'm on the journey.
Exactly.
And feel like there's so much more to do, right?
Exactly, absolutely.
And that's part of being a man to me as well, right? Is trying to dig in, trying to find a way to keep on going, to keep on pushing, and finding a way to be your best self.
Absolutely. And I think there is a very thin line between humility and modesty. You need to know that being humble also means that you're going to be honorable, because with only humility, then you don't know exactly your worth as well, right? So sometimes, like back in the day, I was very humble in the point that I didn't really know what I was capable of doing. So you need to know how not to cross this line, and because once you know also what you're capable of, you need to stay humble, but then you know that you can move on to the next step, So that's a very close person of mine that actually told me this. She told me, "You're too humble." I said, "That's interesting. What do you mean by that?" And then she explained to me. Yeah, so.
No, but it's true though. I mean, as I said, like, there's a very thin line, and sometimes even to me those lines are blurred. Like, sometimes I don't notice these things, but no, 100%. Yeah. I think, you need to know what you're capable of doing, but honoring your own values, your own, your own. How do you say? Yeah, your own traditions, your own values that you have within yourself, but also keep on pushing to what you know is right and what's for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Akram, so I know that you've just come back from Japan.
Yes.
From your Ironman. So how was that?
The best experience of my life. Really beautiful trip. I went there for an Ironman, so the competition was just unbelievable. To be honest, I just I wrote it down on a piece of paper. The 1st of Jan 2024. I told myself I'm going to Japan, so I didn't give myself a choice. And I also told myself, because I just finished completing my first marathon back in the day, and I said I want to do something even bigger. So I said I'm going to do my first Ironman. I checked the date and everything. And it was just on a piece of paper. So it was a dream, and I didn't know how I was going to get there. And then all my life just turned around this dream, and I just made it back.
Man, that's crazy, because so on one of my early episodes, we had another guest who also did the Ironman, but he did it in Florida.
Wow.
Man, his story is hilarious. Hisham, if you're watching this, man, this is for you. So
yeah, I need to watch it.
So he's had so many ups and downs along the way. He wanted to book one Ironman event. It was fully booked. Next one, he was on the waiting list and he didn't get it. And then the other time something else happened, and then eventually got to Florida.
Wow.
But to me, I feel like the Ironman, as an event, it's a huge global one, right? So there's two mental aspects of it, right? Is one, actually booking the thing, is like being committed to the process and being like, okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And then second of all, it's actually competing on the day.
Exactly.
And doing your best possible performance.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what I wanted to get to actually from this question is, how did your preps to the Ironman, how did they help shape your mental health, or did it not help? I don't know, because I would imagine that you're going under so much mental stress and pressure all the time to be at 150% every single day. Yeah. So how did that happen for you?
So I was very scared. Very scared when I first started to put the plan on paper, because I like to do my research first. I have a really critical way of reading articles. You have a lot of nutrition background to be able to perform this type of endeavors, especially because when I do a competition like this, I don't only want to complete it, I want to complete it in a higher level. We'll get to it, but So very scared because I saw the amount of training it requires to get to the level I wanted to have. A 15-hour plus trainings a week, and I had a full-time job back in the day. I'm a pharmacist, so working in a big pharma company, and I started, and it never got easier. It was a day-by-day thing. So yeah, it was very hard to also be able to manage all the stress around this. Every training I was like, am I really getting better? Like I didn't know. You have so many different type of trainings, like long easy runs of 3 hours, long rides of 3 hours, then you go for intervals, then you go for this, and you're like, I cannot even recover, and you don't really feel like you're getting better, but you just need to believe deeply in the process and the plan. If you don't believe that you're going to be successful and you're going to make it, it's not going to happen. So it's a mental game. It's really a mental game. And I think what helped me was my surrounding. So my brother, my family, my friends, they really believed in me. They were like, wow, what you're doing is amazing. And they made me accountable for what I was doing. Even if I didn't really think I was doing the right thing. Yeah. The way they were looking at me, talking to me, telling me that I'm, getting better and everything, I believed it, and it helped me a lot.
Man, it's funny because accountability is so important, right? And I was talking about this before, which, you always need that close group of people who are going to say the things that you don't want to hear, especially when you're in Ironman competition mode or any competition, right? Yes. Because, sometimes you might think that I'm doing... So sometimes there might be that ego of like, I know what I'm doing. I'm the one doing it, so they don't know. And I personally had that before in my life, right? And thankfully as well, like yourself, I also had that accountable group of friends who would be like, Karim, come on, man. You're not training as hard as you should. You're not running as quick as you should. You're not eating as well as you should. Now I'm making it a point to be accountable for myself.
That's a very good point.
Even this morning, like I woke up, I was having breakfast. I'm like, okay, do I want to have this? Or do I have that? And think about it, I'm like, okay, but if I have this, it might not help me in my training for today or tomorrow. If I have that, it might help me today on the short term, but it's healthier food. It might not be as like calorie heavy, but it's fine. I'd rather have that because it's lighter. It's going to help me in my performance in that. Very small things, even in training. Like for example, like if you're doing I know you might not do classes, but if you're doing like a group class and let's say the board says 500 reps of something, you do 471. You're like, okay, to those other 29 reps on competition day when I need to do them, am I going to fail? So it's these small things you need to really be critical for, right? You need to really, just criticize yourself all the time.
I think you get to know yourself better as well. Understand that, sometimes you need to know yourself that good that you know that even if you're not going to do exactly what is written, then it's the right thing to do. And you become the specialist of what you're doing, and even people, because I've talked a lot in the beginning, you have the excitement. So the first month's like, oh, you're doing an Ironman, everything. Yeah. So you get these people very thrilled about what you're doing. You're posting on social media, so you get this dopamine level high. And obviously when you get this, then you have the drop down. You cannot avoid that.
Definitely.
Okay. So I got to this point where when I was really close to the race, all these people around me kind of disappeared because everyone has his life. Like they cannot be behind my back, and it's my thing, So I decided to go earlier to Japan. Bro, like I've never felt that lonely in my life. I was in a country in the other side of the world. And I wasn't talking to anyone at the time, and I just acclimated myself with Japan. So I was in this house in Hokkaido, like 4 hours from Tokyo, countryside. No one speaks English there, just on my own house. And I didn't even hear about Ironman anywhere. I was like, maybe that was not, that was not, maybe it doesn't exist.
Yeah, maybe it was a fake event that I just paid for.
Because it's crazy when you get to, it's so far away from anything it's not like I've been doing something nearby. I went really far, expenses were very high. Everything was very challenging. And once I get there, well, I needed to deal with myself. So every day I was like, okay, look, you have 15 days now to the race. So let's go, you know, because these 15 days, maybe they won't change a lot of things, but they can actually make you far from your goal if you're not having the right mindset.
100%.
So at this time, it was me and myself. And to be honest, ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs, man. Especially before the race. I was like, you know what, I'm not sure I'm going to make it, you know, like, because I had bike issues, I had a very bad injury. I didn't talk about this injury to anyone. I was like, you know what, forget about it. I got this knee pain, bro, and I went to this hill cycling 3 days before the Ironman, and the pain, it was like I was yelling while cycling, but I couldn't like not cycle because I needed to get home. And once I got home, I put the bike and I said, look, it's in 3 days, forget about it, do something else, just put your mind out of this and we'll figure it out. You know, we've been training so much, so hard for this, forget about it. And then, you know, I went back on the bike the day of the race, because the day before I had a flat tire, so I couldn't. Oh God. So it's crazy, you know, things that happen, but then you cannot control these things. You can control your reaction to these 100%. Things, your behavior. So am I gonna act like a baby, like a kid, like, oh no, you need to fix? No, I'm gonna be a man. So that's being a man there as well, you know. So responsible and stuff.
Responsible, yeah. And the thing is, I think it's just to be resilient, right? It's to not find excuses. It's to not believe in the excuses. Yes, I think like this past week for me, like I kept, this one line kept going through my head every single day at work, trainings, life. It's just find a way. Every single day. When I'm tired, when I'm sleepy, when I'm just bored, when I'm just not able to give 100%, find a way. Dig in deep, find a way, and don't find these signs of, okay, I feel tired. No, you're tired. Okay, that is when you start moving. That is when you really push yourself mentally, physically, emotionally to go and do something, right? And I presume in your case it was quite intense, because I mean, I would imagine you've paid all this money, you've done the trip, you've sat alone for around 15-14 days. So it's like, okay, what do we do now? Do we pack up and leave? And what are people going to say about me back home? Like, you know, but I'm very glad to see that, actually you didn't take those excuses as a sign to, because a lot of people believe in signs, right? I used to believe in signs. It's like, oh, it's raining today, maybe it's a sign that I shouldn't cycle or run. It's like, no, but that's
being trying to avoid these excuses will make you, to be honest, more accountable, I think. The only sign that will tell you not to go is really knowing that you can enjoy yourself. And this is something as an athlete you need to be aware of, because one more rep, if it's to tear your ligament or to, you know, tear your muscle or whatever, it's not worth it. But you need to know. And how to know, you need to really be connected to yourself, you know, in mentally, physically, like that's I think one of the best skill to have as an athlete as well, because you need to know your limits. You can go beyond the mental limits, the physical limits, something else. If you want to get there, you need to be smart as 100%. Well. So use your brain in a good way. I mean, you cannot always avoid injury, but especially for, I think, for example, you and me, we are not like professional athletes, but we are training very close to these guys. These guys have a very good surroundings, coach, mental coach, physio, doctors. We don't have all this.
We have ourselves and a few friends and a few family.
So we cannot only pray for our health. We need to be very smart, educated, you know, have the right fuel, the right complements, the right strains. You know, we have this device that will help us. That's a good ad. And so all these things, and you cannot only rely on, for example, your basic knowledge. You want to be an athlete, you want to train every day. Okay, so did you learn something today? You need to every day. We have so much to learn. You know, I just committed myself to an Ironman. I completed it. I qualified for World Champ. You know what? I have so many much more information to learn. I'm still a beginner, and I'm happy with that.
You know, the thing is, so you reminded me of a story. So when I did my first High Rocks, first of hopefully many to come. I have actually one next year. But nice. So we did the first High Rocks in Doha in May. And to talk about like signs and excuses and stuff, right? So I remember there was one training session. Actually, no. So the way that was done was we used to train in Ramadan.
Yes.
Okay. We used to do before iftar.
Nice.
But we'd be doing like insane weights, insane like running, cycling, rowing, sled. It's like, and you're thinking, you're like, okay, so me and maybe one or two others are the few that are fasting. But it's not an excuse. But like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I just finished work. I'm coming in. I'm training. I'm pushing hard. And then you realize you're like, okay, fine. There's all these things that are maybe not going your way per se, but at the same time, you're pushing yourself to a way that you've never done before. So you're being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Now.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, I think a few more weeks later, we were doing a running exercise. Okay. Speaking of injuries, so we were on the running track. I'm like, I just started sprinting 1, 2, third step, my hamstring pops. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. This can't be happening. This cannot be happening.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, like all the hard, because as you said, like all the hard work you've been putting into training, all the mental prep, all the talk you've been telling your people, like, yeah, I'm going to go and you feel cool. And like, it's not, you don't do it to be cool, but you just feel like, people are like, man,
getting there. Yeah.
Like this guy is competing competitions. So you're like, okay, what if I don't compete because of this one injury of something that could have been avoided? You know, and it's always about these very thin margins, right? And then you start to think of it from a mental perspective. Okay, will I make it? Will I not make it? Will I perform? Will I not perform? Will I be able to compete? Will I not be able to? And more importantly is where will I go from here? Am I going to pick myself back up? And that's the biggest question I was asking myself every single day.
Yeah.
From any situation, I mean, am I going to pick myself up and walk and run? Or am I going to sit down and cry about it?
Yeah.
You make the call, but to me, my answer is clear. You know, and at that time, I sort of saw, I mean, okay, obviously I couldn't train, so I kind of had to sit down, but I still put in the work in other things. So, for example, stretching, doing a bit of like just regular gym work, just so that I'm not losing, any strength per se.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, a lot of these injuries come and go, man. Like I remember once, I don't know, there was like, my eye was red. I woke up one morning, just like all my right eye was just red. Yeah. I went to the doctor's like, you can't train for 2 weeks. I'm like, what?
Wow.
It's like, she was like, you have like a popped vein or vessel. I don't know. Like, that's cool. I'm training anyway. So I trained, but then I'm like, but maybe I shouldn't be training because, you know, these things. So you always need to really be mindful of, as you said, what you're capable of doing. Yeah. But two, you know, also playing a balance, right, of logic and just adrenaline. Because sometimes we fall in this trap of, I'm so excited for the competition. I'm going to do well. But then you get an injury, you're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to train through it. It's fine. And that's, to me, one of the big problems that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've been swimming more than 15 years, and then I got this shoulder injury, got me out of a lot of things for 3 years. And I'm telling you, that was the worst 3 years I've ever had, mentally. Very, very, very hard. Because I was born, my parents put me in sports when I was like 4. I've been doing sport all my life. And then I got to this high level in swimming. But again, the mindset was not the same. I was young and I accept this. It's fine. It's part of me. It's part of who I am. And I realized these 3 years, it was actually a lesson. You know, it was a lesson. I could have, you know, come back earlier, but I didn't because I was maintaining this cycle, you know, and I didn't understand. And the day I understood, I just came back. It went away. But I'm telling you, that was the kind of injury. I woke up in the morning, I had pain all over. Like, it was horrible, very, very tough for you know, a few months, few years. You're like, wow, how does this happen to me? And like I was 23, 24 when I moved to Dubai, and frustration, bro, because I came back from France, and France, you have obviously like more, better access to all this physio and everything. And I was like, I'm not going to Dubai with this injury. And I went here and I came here and I had the injury. So I was like so frustrated. And it's crazy. It's crazy how I moved from being the injured guy to the guy who's doing all these things now. So but it has a lot to do with the mind. And now anytime I got closer to an injury or I got myself injured, I just take a step back I'm like, I'm human. It's normal. It happens. So what should I learn about this injury? So it's a lesson. It's for you. I think it's an opportunity for you to become better, you know? How many friends of yours have these tear ligaments? Some of them, they come back to being the best players or the best athletes, and the other ones never came back to sports.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's the exact same injury, right?
Yeah.
So
actually, it's funny because me and my best friend, we both tore our ACL.
Yeah.
He tore it maybe 2 times. I tore it once. Another friend of mine tore his meniscus.
Yeah.
All playing rugby. But yeah, I think all of us went back to playing, but not at 100% rock and roll stuff. No, it was very like,
take it easy.
Take it easy. But then again, like even at that point, you start to think of it as, is it worth it? And as I said earlier, like, and especially at a younger age, I mean, that was when I was in university. So let's say that was 6 years ago. You can say 6-7 years ago. So when that happens, like, okay, you know, do I want to push harder for something that I know I won't be doing forever? Or do I just push it now so that, you know, I don't know, so like, you know, just for the now, for I get injured now and then later on I deal with it. These are thoughts that I think a lot of people should have, and not just in sports, by the way, in general, in life. Like any decision you take, you need to know that there's a consequence for now, there's a consequence for later. You need to decide, okay, is this decision really worth it to take? Then
it's very interesting that you say not only sports, because I believe whatever are going to be your behaviors in one particular domain defines who you are as a person. A lot of people, they're like, yeah, but I don't run. What do you mean you don't run? You mean you don't like to be uncomfortable? For me, it's not because you're not a runner. It's just because you don't want to try yourself into something that you pretend you're not good at. Yeah. So maybe if I'm going to ask you something else in another domain, you know, I'm not going to trust you with doing this, you know? So sports is a very visual way of showing me what type of person you are, you know? Yeah. So it's interesting.
You know, it's funny because a lot of, like, there's some people who text me every now and then go like, man, I want to join the classes, like the classes that I go to. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, just let me know when you want, and, you know, we'll head. They don't text. I'm like, okay, something happened. Next time it's like, yeah, I want to come. Like, okay. But just be aware that there's a lot of, like, conditioning, there's a lot of running. It's intense. It's not your regular gym bro session. It's tough. Yeah. Okay. and it got me thinking to what you were saying, because, you know, a lot of times I think people get overly excited by the idea but not the execution of it. Yeah. It's like, I want to do these sessions. I want to be seen doing these sessions, but doing them, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah. Why would I want to run whatever and lift X and do Y? You know, and that's the thing. It's like you need to know, like, what battles to put yourself in, I think. And two, another thing that sort of also goes back to mentality and sports, right, is especially with high intensity sports. I've realized this. Yeah. I think people who do high intensity sports have, I think, the best mentalities I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Because no disrespect to anyone who does anything else.
Yeah, of course.
But I think the amount of stress and mental work you need to really put in going to any single workout that you're doing is immense. It's not easy, especially like yourself. So doing the Ironman, man, I used to see your stories. You'd wake up at God knows what time, cycle, go to work, finish by what time, run again, and then finish, do your third session. I'm like, how? Yeah. Like, and that's all mental. Yeah. 90% of it is mental. Yes. Physical is just moving, but mental is actually getting yourself up, change, doing the session, giving it your best, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of people, and myself included, I was the type of person who was, you know, thinking this type of things is impossible for the long run. And when I put myself in this situation, then I figured out a way. And I think anyone can do it. You just know what works best for you. You know, that's all. For example, for me, I cannot be accountable if you're gonna tell me, hey, you're gonna be having an Ironman in 9 months from today, so let's prepare. I won't be excited about it. I'm just, 9 months, come on, I have time, bro. Like, I won't be training every day. I will skip trainings. But if you give me some milestones, hey, 2 weeks from now you have this, so get ready. I'm excited. Like, now I'm gonna do it. And I understood also, like, how to live in the present moment, really. live in the present moment. It means that I'm not thinking about what's gonna happen at the end of the day. I'm here and now, you know. And once you get to this present moment and you live like this, bro, like the happiness you're getting is immense. It's just wonderful, you know. I never understood people telling me, hey, just, you know, do what you need to do now, live in the present moment. I'm always very anxious about, but the future, tomorrow I'm gonna be, no, don't think about tomorrow you're gonna wake up, you gotta figure it out. Think about now, what are you doing now? Be accountable about what you're doing now. And that's how you handle waking up at 3 a.m, go for a ride, coming back, take a shower, go to work, you know, because it's not only going to work, you need to be
you need to be functioning. You can't just be there like a zombie
and then sleep. You work, and then you come back home, and then you go for the other training, even though you did your training in the morning, because that's what you need to do, and that's what was planned. And if you follow what you said you are going to do, and you don't postpone, you don't find excuses, then you will get there.
So walk me through it. So how do you live in the present moment? and I'll tell you why I ask it, because you know, I used to do a lot of therapy, right? And a lot of times we would always say, like, live in the present moment. And there was a time where I really did, like, I was really in the now. Maybe even till today, I'm almost there. But for me, I'm a bit like you. Maybe I'm a bit more anxious, right? I'm always thinking of tomorrow, thinking about yesterday, thinking about, I don't know, whatever, right? So how does it work with you? Especially because you're such a high active person, right? So you must be excited for the next session. You might be excited for the next milestone that you need to hit, you know? So how do you go about it?
I really try self-talk. So I talk to myself, you know? It's something that, it's a technique that worked for me, you know? Like, for example, the alarm rings, instead of like just putting in snooze and sleeping back, something I used to do before. Now it's like, I'm telling myself exactly the session I'm gonna do now, you know, and I wake up, and every step I try to be very conscious, you know. Even if I'm tired, I'm trying to enjoy the you know, just the feeling of waking up at this time and believing that this is the journey, you know. Without these little steps, you won't get anywhere, you know. And so when I get on the bike in the morning, instead of telling myself, oh my God, I'm going to be tired, you know, at work or anything, I'm like, wow, that's a nice bike. You know, I mean, I never thought I was going to be the type of guy who's doing this in the morning at 3 a.m. in the desert. Like, wow, look at the sky, look at the trees around. Like, I just appreciate everything, every little thing. It's not only Ironman is so cool and like, no, it's like really enjoying gratitude, you know, expressing gratitude. For me, I tried a lot to do it by writing it, you know. A lot of people, they do this gratitude, like, you know, for me it didn't work to write it, so I'm just like express it in my way. So I'm really trying to be grateful, you know, and wow, in Japan it worked so well. Because I think that was my dream, and when I was there it was like 100 times better. I was so grateful. Would you believe me if I tell you I did a 10-hour 30 minutes Ironman and I didn't feel any pain, any fatigue the whole time? I was just thrilled about the fact that I was doing an Ironman in Japan. Bro, I was so happy. I cannot even... And I never... all my trainings, I felt, you know, some kind of pain, some kind of fatigue. I was checking out my data, you know, my heart rate was going up. I was in zone 3, the full marathon of the Ironman. No way. 145 BPM. I can show you the data right now. Seriously.
I need to see this off air. I need to see that.
I would show it to you.
Man, that's insane.
And I'm not even, you know, saying that to impress. Like, I was impressed by myself at this moment. I was like, what is exactly going on right now? But it was just, I cannot explain it. I'm still like trying to understand. And I think it's because I really focused on the enjoyment and the right things, you know, during the race. I wasn't stressed about like trying to do a time or anything. I was just like, wow, you're doing it, you know. And I performed like this.
And that's insane, you know. Like, it's crazy because, you know, again, I can only ever talk about my own experiences, right? Like for me, there are a lot of days where I feel this sense of just things that I'm very grateful of, especially when I'm in trainings with people. So for example, like for me, Saturdays is like my happy day.
Yeah.
And not that every other day is sad, no, but like I love my Saturday sessions. Why? Because it's middle of the day, Sunday, like Saturday afternoon, it's still sunny, everyone's up, they're at it, it's the weekend, we're good vibes, good energy, we're pushing each other. And to me, I call those my happy places. So my trainings, the people that I'm with.
Yeah.
And I look forward to those days of the week.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm excited for Saturday, I'm excited for Sunday, I'm excited for whatever days. Because at the end of the day, those are the days for me that I just enjoy training in. I don't know why. It's just during the week, it's good.
More complicated.
It's more, but it's doable.
Yeah,
it's doable. It's fine. It's just, to me, I think, I don't know. To me, by the way, sunlight is everything. I've really noticed this the hard way. But I love doing. Yeah, but like I love training during the day.
Yeah,
like during like 12 p.m., 1 p.m., whatever, or early in the morning. But but going back to gratitude, right? I think one thing that I definitely tried, by the way, was writing as well. Didn't really work. To me, it's like, I don't know. To me, it feels like you need to list them out, and sometimes if you wrote like, let's say 10, you're like, no, but I'm sure there's more.
Yeah.
And you write anything random.
Yes.
But and that's probably one of the things that I struggled with. But one thing that really helped me personally was praying, right? So whenever I finish my prayer, I just thank God for every single thing that I have. And the thing is, there you don't feel like you need to list. They just come out.
Yeah, naturally.
It's like, I'm grateful for boom, 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 boom. And and to me, it's just one of those things, man, where you just need to be very much grateful for everything that's happening and for everything that you have.
Exactly.
And just know that as well, like you as a person, you're also, blessed with things that maybe other people might not. But also going back to part of what it means to be a man is as well, to give back to those people, or to help anyone who is struggling in any way. And that's been something that's really been on my mind over the past few months. Just honestly, just being a good person, being somebody who, just has no hate. Yeah. Honestly, like, okay, maybe to some things you should, but like in general, having no hate, living life, just, open, loving, caring, and seeing where life takes you, because you never know. It works, it doesn't work. Yeah. It's fine. At least you've lived the life that you knew was right?
Exactly. And I think, talking about the challenge, especially because I did it in Japan. To be honest, I don't think if I've done it anywhere else, it would have been the same. Of course, I'm going to do it in other places now, but the first one needed to be there because I was pleasing my inner self, actually.
No worries. And that was fucking good.
Yeah, man.
God damn,
bro. I love it.
Shit. I just hope you don't lose your train of thought, because I wanted to hear this part, actually.
No worries, I got it.
You got it? Yeah, man, honestly, your Ironman story is just crazy, to be honest.
Thank you, man.
But I really hope that they're recording this, because this would be really cool, like off-air content.
Yeah.
But no, man, your definitely your like Ironman journey it's crazy.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been, like, only the beginning was, as I told you, just one decision, and when your life change all over, because I had the choice as well to kind of back off. You always have this choice, right? But to be honest, I didn't want to be this kind of man. I didn't want to be the kind of man who's going the right path, because I have very traditional parents. I love them and they're awesome, but then they're very strict, and especially my mom, and she has been with me my full 7 years of studying pharmacy, and she's like, what do you mean you're first a scientist, like you're a pharmacist, and then you do this on the side, it's your passion, whatever, but it doesn't I don't want it to take lead in your life, because anyone can do it. And I'm like, not really, mom. It's very complicated to understand to our parents. And I think not only our generation, any generation, even them, maybe they had dreams and they just back off from their dreams, and I don't want to be this guy.
But I think the world we live in now is very different, right? Because I think at the time maybe they didn't have as many influences or influencers per se to show you that actually it's very possible to live your dream life, like maybe in their day it was very much of you know, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be this,
Yeah.
I want to have a successful business.
Yeah.
But okay, sure. But then what about what you actually want to do? You know?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah, we have more options.
much more options.
I think you'll have to start from your answer again.
Okay.
You can recall.
Yeah, sure. I will try to. I think. Let's. How can I?
Or maybe
I know what I was talking about. But
question again, I think.
yeah.
I forgot. What was my question anyways? I forgot. But
I
although
know
there
what
is
I was saying. I was saying that coming back to. Yeah, I think I can. Yeah.
So can we remove
yeah.
that section? Like the section where we stopped at?
You want to remove it?
No. So
As in, you can start from.
okay.
Yeah, we'll start again from this sentence.
Okay,
If
fine.
you want to skip that question, up to you.
No, it's fine.
No.
I will-
Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
So, coming back to the Ironman in Japan, I think at this time I wanted really to please myself, you know, as my kid version, the kid version of myself, you know, like, because as a kid I was always inspired by Japan, the Japanese culture, and I always wanted to go there and everything. So when I went there, I went there with the kids' eyes, you know, and everything else, to be honest. And I think it's a very important thing to keep while you're growing, to stay as a kid, you know.
Definitely.
And because as you were saying, I think you don't want to hate, and you don't want, and innocence when you were a kid, you were innocent, and you had big dreams. So that's how you're gonna achieve these things, you know. If you really live life as a kid, but a little bit more responsible, of course. But yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Look, and especially I think, you know, since you've done that step to go to Japan and you're sort of living your childlike or your inner child. I mean, of course, your like fascination, if you want, with Japan. But I think even beyond that, you were saying earlier that you've always wanted to be stronger, right?
Exactly.
And maybe to you at that point in time, that idea of strength was actually completing that Ironman. Is to pack up your bags, pay everything, do the competition, and come back in the best possible time.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's, you know, one of the very true examples of just living your childhood, or living like your inner child needs.
Yeah.
You know, when I think back to what I wanted as a kid, I remember I wanted to be a wrestler on WWE when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I was like, well, no way. And then I was like, yeah, I'll just be a businessman like my dad. And I'm like, no, like maybe, but not now. And then, but there was always a link, right? Which was WWE was all about strength.
Yes.
It's to show power, it's to show, you know.
Yes.
And being a businessman like my dad is almost like, you know, having that mentality of we don't stop going. We keep on going. We keep on pushing.
Yeah.
And I think those two combined sort of took me, one, to the podcast, but two, onto my own like fitness journey, even though it's not as extensive, but it's starting, you know.
That's awesome.
And yeah, but I just came to the realization of this now on the podcast. So
awesome.
so thanks.
Yeah.
So thank you. Like, yeah, I didn't really make that link ever in my life, but yeah. Before we wrap it up, there's one question I want to ask you, and then one thing we need to talk about. But
Sure.
So I wanted to discuss family with you, because I know family is almost very important, right?
Yeah.
To any person living. What influence did your family have on you? And especially, because I mean, we spoke a little bit off air, you know, about will my parents maybe approve, if you want, of this shift in my life, because I've done all the hard work in medicine, I've graduated, I've done everything, and what effect that have on you mentally, and yeah, if there was any.
Very interesting question. So first, I'm going to talk about my parents as individuals, and I have one brother. So my parents are very impressive. Both. My mom is she was always the first when she was a student. She performed in everything. Also, like, sports was part of her life. My dad the same. He was a handball player in the national team in Algeria, and yeah, they put us both in sports. Me and my brother as kids, sport, music, everything. You know, they wanted us to have a lot of experience, and we've been traveling a lot as well. So my parents have always wanted us to be more than only good kids at school. You know, they wanted us to have this sports background, knowledge, education in music, and, you know, be open to life and have more opportunities, I guess. But of course, because they are very traditional, strict parents, they wanted me to study, and I did.
Yeah.
Graduated in med school, and the shift I'm taking right now is kind of a risk for them. So it's hard, as I think, for them to accept the fact that I'm moving to this to this way. But the impact is not like they're trying to tell me to take the things in a different way. So basically, they want me to go for a solid plan to keep working in the pharma industry, and by trying to build my business on the side, and then maybe go for plan B when it will be solid. That's something I've been trying to do last year, and I know for a fact that it won't work for me, because when I'm committed to something, even if I'm able to manage an athlete schedule and everything, it's very hard for me to put a lot of efforts into that, and it will take time, and maybe I won't be as good as if I go directly. And I believe in myself now to go straight to that direction. So I'm trying to change their mindset and trying to just tell them to trust me. And my brother believes in me big time.
Amazing.
Big time. I have a big brother. We are very close. Has also like a very impressive background in many ways, sports as well. And he's my big brother, but recently he told me that I inspired him, so made me cry, to be honest, amazing. Because he inspired me my whole life. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I have beautiful family. They're like, it's paradoxal, because they give me love, they tell me that they trust me, but they just want me to do things in a particular way that I'm not ready to do, because if I accept this, then I won't do what I believe in personally. And I think even if maybe I'm gonna go into the wrong direction, but if I don't do mistake, I won't learn. As an entrepreneur, I think you need to give it a shot, and I think now is my time. So yeah,
it's definitely your time to shine. And I mean, and look, and that, especially with parents, like, they always want what's best for their kids in their eyes, right? But I think as well, a lot of times in life, things have changed, things have developed, I think, beyond what it was before. And especially, being in a city like Dubai, and the opportunities are endless. Like we spoke about it off air, like, there's a lot of businesses you can potentially set up here. Yeah. Just by doing what you love, right? Exactly. And of course, there's a risk with everything you do. Not saying there's 100% a risk, but as long as it's a calculated risk, and you're 100% committed, and aware of the project, and you're very much aware of this can go really well, and if it does go really well, what will I do? And if it goes bad, hopefully not, but if it does, what am I going to do from there?
Exactly.
And that's as well part of being a man, right? Yeah. Is you need to take risks, you need to calculate, you need to think what's best for me.
Exactly.
What is best for me, and hopefully my tribe, that will be later on, or maybe my current family. Yeah. So Akram, the way we like to end every episode is there's a notebook over here.
Okay.
And essentially what I'm going to ask you to do is to write down a quote that either helped you get through tough times, or something that's helped you. And obviously any piece of advice you'd give to anybody struggling at the moment. Okay. So as soon as they read it, they go like, that was some wise words.
Yeah. Okay.
So over to you.
Now is the time where so many quotes get in my head. Yeah. So I need to choose one.
Only the best ones. I mean,
yeah. Oh, that's.
Or actually, yeah.
Tell me.
Whatever one comes to mind.
No, tell me.
No, I was gonna say, like, what was that one quote that you had in your mind when you were going through the Ironman? If there was one. I mean, sometimes it might just be self-talk. Sometimes it might be something you've heard off of a YouTube video, which I normally do.
Oh, I need to say it or just write it?
No, I'll just write it down.
Okay. Here you go.
Wow. That was powerful, huh?
Yeah.
I was trying to read it as you were writing. That's actually super, super, super true. A lot of times I do exactly as you said in the first part of the quote.
Yeah.
And I think, the journey of getting there. So, okay, I'll read the quote because I don't want to be like a cryptic. I think that's the word. So the quote says, if you can dream it, you can do it. And a lot of times in my life, I've dreamt of things and I've seen things. I'm like, man, this is where I need to be. This is where I'm going to be. And I think, it's just the roadmap to getting there is a bit challenging, but you need to find a way. You need to
make your way.
Make your way.
Sometimes it doesn't exist.
Exactly. So sometimes you won't find it. You need to make it.
You need to make it. Exactly.
Man, that's amazing. Man, such an incredible episode. And Anjad, I really wish you all the best in everything you do. And and thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It was awesome.
My pleasure. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Cheers.